Hello peeps, this is Gaz here on Hillbilly Halfwit, and I've got a new microphone, well, different microphone today, so tell me if this is better or not, and I've ordered another one as well. So, something hopefully is better. Now, I wasn't sure what I was going to do today, but until I saw this on Facebook earlier. It's about a thing called Fishwick Farms, and basically it's a National Trust farm, and I've just gone onto their Facebook page, and they've had a bit of a disagreement with the National Trust by the sound of it. And out of the blue, they've been told they've got to leave the farm just like that. And I thought it was absolutely horrible because you do have rights. Because, you know, who is to say that the person running them in that area isn't a bad person that just doesn't like the person running the farm? You should have rights to go to an ombudsman or somebody. So I was just going to read this out. So Fishwick's Farms, end of an era. I feel really sorry for these people. After weeks of relentless wet weather and our focus on keeping our livestock alive and healthy, with the forecast of better weather was certainly welcome news. Tuesday we were notified that the Animal and Plant Health Agency had put all the farms in our local area into a TB1 zone, including ourselves. We had a clear herd test back in October, but now have everything else to test again. Not ideal, but something we have to learn to live with. When you think your resilience has been tested to the max, on Thursday, whilst vaccinating lambs, I received a phone call from the National Trust estate manager to tell me that they decided to terminate our farm business tenancy at Bankhouse Farm. On Friday, when Arlene returned from work, a letter had been hand-delivered and left in our porch, which is a notice to quit plus the attached copy of the letter. There's always two sides to every story, but lack of communication has always been an issue, and something we constantly try to improve. It's frustrating constantly finding out from third parties what is happening on your tenanted land. And back in August, after we had been told by the National Trust volunteer we would be leaving at the end of our tenancy, we asked the National Trust and they said that was not true. Last week we were asked by the RSPB if they could do a survey on our land. I told him I knew nothing about it, but would have to ask the National Trust if they were happy for this to happen, as it was funded under the Farming in Protected Landscape scheme. See attached copy of a letter received on Friday with the names deleted. Their decision is of no real surprise, but what certainly doesn't make it any less painful when we have found an area for which we have a great passion for over 22 years. The National Trust are happy to highlight how good a working relationship they have with their tenants and even currently have a TV program based on the importance of this. Absolutely disgusted at how they have delivered this life-changing news, let alone the complete lack of respect for our family and business. Cannot even be bothered to have a face-to-face meeting. Shame on the National Trust. Let's read one of these letters. This is to the farmers. Further to our conversation on the 18th of April and pursuant to the Agricultural Tenancy Act, please find enclosed a notice to quit the holding known as Bankhouse Farm, Silverdale, at the end of the fixed term of your business tenancy. As discussed, we are thankful for your work you've undertaken at Bankhouse Farm. However, we have both previously discussed we feel the breakdown in communication between yourself and the trust has deteriorated to such an extent that it's not in the best interest of either party continue. They'd obviously told them to go ahead with this without even telling the tenants what was going on. Don't know whether you ever had a chance to speak with the National Trust regarding the survey, but an email from so-and-so at Leighton Moss Reserve has told me that from National Trust sits on the approved board and is fully aware of the project. Thanks. I just thought this was disgusting. Obviously, there's been a breakdown of communications between them, but you shouldn't be able to chuck somebody off a farm that you've been on for 22 years just like that, without some form of talking to somebody else. Because, like I said, it could be the estate manager who has just took a dislike to these people. Now, I put a video up last week about a friend of mine's daughter, who's had the same treatment off the Welsh Water Authority in Elan Valley. She basically had the same sort of treatment off them. These estates and these national trust are being offered huge amounts of money to go into schemes. Now, in my area now, the same water authority is trying to get a grant for 22 million to put in electric charging points and put in a new water treatment facility and also a turbine. But I know for a fact all the farms around here haven't even got electricity. So isn't it a bit of a piss take if they're putting the electricity to charge a car and you haven't got any electricity to the farms, the tenanted farms all around it? So I'll do a separate video on that when I got a bit of time later. But I just thought this was horrible and I feel sorry for this place. Obviously there's been a breakdown in communication, but you shouldn't just chuck somebody out like that. So go and visit them on Facebook, Fishwick Farms, and wish them well. All the best, guys.